As we were discussing yesterday in my first session regarding the vulnerabilities and controls, I hope you are able to understand the very basics or the ABC of cybersecurity. One thing is CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and then I was demonstrating. I mean, I covered about how we work in the cybersecurity domain, and why cybersecurity, is gaining so much of popularity. So as I said, security is something which was always there from the a very long time. Like the concepts of cryptography and all these concepts were already there, it has changed now. So because of the digital transformation, we call this domain as cyber security, which is protecting the cyberspace, right? So digital transformation happened, and along with this, we got vulnerabilities, and vulnerabilities is something which a security professional should be aware of. It is one of the important factor in our domain. So it's like it's like a doctor who doesn't know diseases, right? So if you look at the diseases, there are thousands and maybe millions of diseases that exist, but in the same way there are thousands and millions of diseases that exist. So it doesn't mean that you have to be knowing about all the vulnerabilities, but yeah, there are at least a few vulnerabilities which one has to be knowing at any cost in order to call themselves a security professional, because that's what we're gonna do, right? The intention of cybersecurity is to find the loopholes, to find the vulnerabilities, and to remediate it. That's the end goal of cybersecurity. So vulnerabilities exist everywhere. It could be anything which comes under the cyber domain or the cyberspace has a vulnerability. Everything which is digital has a vulnerability. So if you look at the affected platforms here, um, we can see the highest affected platform which had the vulnerabilities is on the number one is Google Android. This is as per the 17 and 18, a bit old, but still. Android. Then we have Adobe, Microsoft, Apple iOS, Apple Mac, Google Chrome. Then you can also see Linux kernel. Okay, so for those who are having this concept in mind that Linux is secure and it cannot be easily, it cannot get hacked. So that's not the truth. The truth is basically there's nothing which is 100% secure. It could be Linux, Unix, or anything. So like these are the platforms which are highly affected, like Microsoft Edge, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, and Apple Mac, Apple iOS, and so on. On the other side, if you look at the platforms, if you look at these companies or these products, these are also the ones which we use in our day-to-day life. Okay, apart from highly being affected, these are the ones which we use in our day-to-day life, and that's something which we have to look into, right? So we use Google Android, and it says that Android is the highest affected platform. Okay, Android was the highest affected platform even today also. Okay, so what, like how these vulnerabilities are caused, like how is that a vulnerability gets created, or how is it formed basically. So one is due to weak coding or development. So um, with respect to development or coding, what we have seen is that people actually do not never, people never, or the developers never take security into the consideration. Okay, the main intention of a developer or a coder is that to deliver the product on time. Okay, so time is one thing what they look at. Second thing is appearance. Okay, as to how good the application is looking, how we can make it more like presentable or interactive. That is what developers focus at. But from a security standpoint, none of the developers take any of the security into the consideration, and that is why it, this thing leaves a gap for which creates a vulnerability. Okay, now it is not the problem of developers, I would say. They if you look at this part, they are basically not aware of the security concepts that has to be considered while developing a code. They're not aware of the do's and don'ts that has to be followed. SDLC, that is Secure Development Lifecycle, though it is a subject, it's a topic in most of the IT courses, BCA, MC, or anything, but still the actual concept of security is not covered in the SDLC. Okay, this is one of the main reason, and as I said, due to this, it could be lack of awareness, it could be lack of education, it could be lack of guidance that the developers are not developing it properly. But any which ways, it is because of these things that security has gained so much of popularity, and we security professionals have are in very much demand. Okay, so I must say thanks to the developers and the project people and all who have not taken security as a thing. Again, it's like if there are no diseases, there would be no hospitals and there would be no doctors, right? So it's somewhere similar to that again. So this is one part. Second thing is due to misconfigurations. When I say misconfigurations, it is where the systems are not configured properly, where the routers are not configured properly, or the firewalls are not configured properly. Okay, now here I would like to share with you a big myth that many non-security people have. Okay, who are not into the security, but into the IT also, or any other field. There's a big myth that people have, and the myth is that I would like I'll iterate the statement which I've heard a lot of times. Okay, because when we reach out to clients for prospect purpose, and especially when we are dealing with I'll tell you a case. I was with a proposal meeting, and the head of the main operations was like, and the technical operations, they were there, and they were like, okay, fine, we need security and all that. And in that physical meeting which happened recently, there was the higher management people, that is the CEO and the directors, were also available present there. And the statement what they said, when during the discussion, a point came where I said that you are not that secure compared to how much you have to be. And this line, when I said, the CEO said that, hey, we are highly secure. We have a firewall and we have an antivirus, and we have spent nearly about 3 lakhs for the firewall and the antivirus, so we are secure. Okay, so this is a common statement which I get to hear very frequently from the business owners and the other people. So having a firewall is will not work, right? Having an antivirus is not work. You have to configure that antivirus, you have to configure those firewalls. you know. Otherwise, what is the use? Okay, just like deploying a security guard will not work. What will happen? What if the security guard is just sitting on his chair and maybe watching some movies, wearing an earphone and watching movies all through the day, or he's peeping into someone else's office or doing some chit chat with other people? That doesn't mean that he is protecting or he's doing his work, right? So deploying or implementing, just keeping it in your environment doesn't work. Okay, it has to be configured, it has to be checked. So this is another reason why there happens to be a vulnerability. So another example I would like to give is about the let's say your Wi-Fi router. I'm sure in your college and your house you might be having routers, Wi-Fi routers, Wi-Fi access point, wireless access point. So generally, we can easily access the admin panel of the router by entering the IP address, that is 192.168.1.1 if it is D-Link, 1.0 if it is TP-Link, and so on. And when you access you get the admin panel, and there we will be able to you will have to enter the username and password. Some of the routers do not even have that admin panel where usernames and passwords have to be put. Even though if it has to be put, the general password would be admin and admin. This is a default password which is given by D-Link. So we do not change this admin and admin password. What can happen with this? Anyone who is connected to the internet or to your Wi-Fi router, they can access the admin panel. They can change your code. They can change your password. They can change the name, SSID of the Wi-Fi. Okay, they can also remove your access. Okay, they can do a lot of things which will cause a impact to the institution or to your house also individually. Okay, so this is a basically a misconfiguration, right? Default passwords are enabled, and sometimes in some of the cases passwords are not enabled at all. So it's a misconfiguration that is leading to vulnerability. All right. So these are the reasons how vulnerabilities are caused. And if you look at the types of vulnerabilities, let's have a look at take a look at the types of vulnerabilities. Which are the different types of vulnerabilities that exist? So talking about the different types of vulnerabilities, we have network vulnerabilities. Network vulnerabilities is, these there are issues with the network. Okay, it could be a hardware or it could be a software. Like firewall is a hardware device, and on the other side there are software based firewalls also. Okay, so there could be issue in the firewall, which is a hardware based or a software based or anything like that. So poorly configured firewalls and insecure Wi-Fi access point are some of the examples. So vulnerabilities which exist in the network, okay, vulnerabilities which exist in the network are network-based vulnerabilities. All right. So then we have operating system vulnerabilities. Operating system vulnerabilities is where vulnerabilities pertaining to specific operating system. Okay, is anyone aware of the vulnerability that came up across, I think, 2 weeks back on Linux? If you are aware of the Linux vulnerability, there was a big vulnerability which was in the Linux platforms. This vulnerability existed. It's not only for Linux, it's also for the entire Unix based operating system it was. And it is said that this vulnerability existed from past 10 years. Okay, so you can just take a look about this Linux vulnerability where one could take the admin privilege or root access. Okay, so the Unix or the Linux platforms had this vulnerability where we can easily get access to the root account or to the root privileges. Okay, so this was the vulnerability. And every operating system, Windows, Apple, there are so many operating systems, and all these operating system have some or the other vulnerabilities. So if OS gets, OS is the main part of the system of a computer system. It is called as the soul of the system, right? So if this soul gets hacked, then the entire component, entire system will get compromised. And similarly, we have server-based vulnerabilities. Server vulnerabilities, we have so many servers like Windows 2012, R2, R3, Windows Server 2016, and we have Apache servers, and a lot of servers are there. So it depends on the platforms here. Okay. Then there are Android based vulnerabilities. Okay, with respect to specific to Android, we have web vulnerabilities which is specific to web application. Okay. And We have human vulnerabilities. This is something which is a major issue which organizations face, because humans are considered as the weakest point in cybersecurity. Okay, the weakest or the most vulnerable asset for an organization is its employees. Okay, because an organization can implement n number of controls on the network, on the server, on the operating system, but when it comes to a human, when it comes to an employee, um, we cannot have any control over the human brain, on the humans. Okay, we cannot imply any control here. And we humans are the one who have access to lot of things. So humans are considered as the weakest link in in an organization in the cyber security. Okay. Then there is process based vulnerabilities. Process based vulnerabilities is basically, the process is not defined properly, so there is a loophole there. Okay, we have been seeing a lot of scams happening with GST, with the tax, and with the insurance. you know your vehicle gets damaged, which will cost you around 10,000, but you showcase as if you have an expenditure of 1 lakh or 50,000, and you take the insurance money. So this is a process based vulnerability. So the process is not set properly. So there is no transparency in the process, maybe, or the process is not set properly. One of the example would be the use of weak password. Okay, so nowadays few of the websites have come up with this concept where they have strict password, where they follow strict password. People might get irritated because of it. Saying that what is this, so many, the password requires to be minimum 10 characters. The password should have a lower case, the password should have an uppercase, the password should have a number, the password should have a character. Okay, and the password, if you give your name, first name, and your year of birth or something like that, it will not take the password. So these are a lot of re- requirement that have been added by the websites and companies. So in that case, in the case, if this process was not implemented at all, if website, any websites, if they said that, hey, keep your password as you want. Okay, you can keep your password one letter also, you can keep your password of two letter also. If someone had said this, and if you had no nothing like you have to have these many things, then I'm damn sure that people will keep one letter also as their password. Okay, so this will be a loophole in the process. Right, so that's what I was trying to cover here with the process based vulnerabilities. Then there is hardware vulnerabilities also, right? So hardware also plays a very important role in the cybersecurity space, because there have been a lot of hardware based vulnerabilities also which have been identified, and they have been patched, like in the Intel processors and all that. So Basically, if you look at the types when I was discussing, these are all platform based. Okay, hardware, Android, web server, web application, and then network. Okay, so for every platforms, every application, there are vulnerabilities which exist. Okay, um, next is some of the examples of vulnerabilities is what we're gonna discuss. That is, number one is weak credentials. Okay, weak credentials means an attacker may weak credentials is basically common passwords and all. So there is a method called as brute force. Okay, brute forcing is basically what we'll do is there we have a word list, something called as word list. Okay, this word list contains billions of passwords, billions and millions of passwords. Okay, so the one of the word lists which I have is of 18 GB, and we also have 20, 40, 50 GB of word list. Okay, so there are word lists which is Indian based word lists are there, specific to Indian citizens. Okay, so all the common passwords they have clubbed together and they make it as a word list. So this word list is basically used when to brute force, where each of the passwords are checked. Okay, each of the passwords are checked, and out of million passwords, if your password is not unique, then there are chances, and it's very easy to get your password and to compromise your password. So this is weak credentials is one of the vulnerability. That is why I was recommending everyone to enable two-factor authentication. If you haven't done it yet, please kindly do it. Okay, so this is about weak credentials. Next is about compromised credentials. Compromised credentials is where we yesterday in my first session I showcased you about the have I been pawned site. I'm not sure how many of you have checked on it, but it's something which you should be checking, in order to be safe. So if you see that your passwords have got compromised, this is the high time where you change your password. Okay, because we what when we perform, as I said yesterday about red team assessment and VAPT testing and all, we try to find the compromised passwords from these pawned websites and all. Okay, have I been pawned websites, and there are a lot of other websites from where we will get the dump of passwords. Okay, so we get the password, we have the ID, and we try to log into organization's account. Okay, so this is a very common thing and very serious thing. So please take a look at the have a been pawn site and make sure you change your password immediately. Never use that password again in your entire life. Okay, so that's about compromised credentials. Next is input validation. Input validation means an attacker can run commands or scripts on a web application if input validation on the forms are not done properly. For example, if the input value is a name, then it should accept only alphabets and not numbers. Okay, it should have minimum length. This is a security thing. Okay, which many of the websites fail to do. Or else what can happen, we can run a script which will send a script to the server, which will run in the server backend, and it will give whatever results we want. So input validation, if it is not done, it is a vulnerability. Some of the other vulnerabilities are not setting up two-factor authentication, keeping your social media, profile public. As I said, keeping your social media profile public. Please make sure your social media accounts are not public and private. Okay. Then there is something called as OWASP Top 10. OWASP Top 10 is basically list of top 10 web application vulnerabilities. So this is very important from a web application security standpoint. You have a separate session kept for OWASP top 10. Please make sure you attend this session because there will be a demonstration done on these vulnerabilities as to the most 10 and most common vulnerabilities in the top 10 list. At least as a security professionals, if someone want to be, they have to be at least knowing the top 10 OWASP vulnerabilities. Okay, then there are unpatched vulnerabilities. Unpatched vulnerabilities are where this is where we say always that our systems and our applications and softwares needs to be up to date. Okay, if you haven't updated your software applications system, please make sure you do it. Otherwise, what will happen? Every application, they release a new version of it. Why do they release a new version? Because the older version has some vulnerabilities, and to overcome this vulnerability, they come up with a new vulnerability. And if you new version, okay, and if you do not update yourself, update the system or the application, then your device or your system will be at a highest risk of getting attacked. Okay, so with respect to this, I would like to show you about this something called as common vulnerabilities and exposure. So this is basically a repository of the um, uh, a repository of all the vulnerabilities that exist in the world. Okay, repository of vulnerabilities which exist in the entire world. So all the applications, every application, as I said, every component, as I said, has some or the other vulnerability. So this website, I would like you guys to just take a look at it sometime later when you get time. So basically what I'll do is you can search for CVE list, common vulnerability exposure. So you can put anything here. You can put, Apache server, you can put Android 5, you can put some vendor also like D-Link, TP-Link, Windows, Microsoft, anything. I'll put Android 5, okay, which is Android version 5, and you can see here every vulnerability has a naming. Okay, it has a number. Okay, 2020 35693. So what was the vulnerability? On some Samsung phones and tablets running Android through 7.1.1, it is possible for an attacker controlled Bluetooth low energy BLE device to pair silently with a vulnerable target without any user interaction. When the target device Bluetooth is on and it is running an app that offers an connectable BLE advertisement, an example of such an Bluetooth app could be Bluetooth based contact tracing app, such as Australia's COVID Safe app, and even India's the what is that application name? I don't remember. The COVID application was there, no? Sorry, I'm not able to recall that suddenly. But yeah, as part of this, the list of affected devices includes but not limited to Galaxy Note 5, Samsung S6, A3, and all that. So this was the vulnerability where one can easily uh, connect to your Bluetooth device. And what can happen after we connect to through Bluetooth? We can we can steal easily your credentials. We can get access to your phone. Whatever you want to do, we can do that. Okay. Xiaomi Red 5 Android device with a built fingerprint contains pre-installed app with the package name factory, and that allows unauthorized wireless setting modification via a confused deputy attack. And Asus Zenfone. So basically, you know, and every the CV. Please look at the click on the CV number, and it will give you further details about these things. And Okay, this is one side. There's one more site called as cvedetails.com, which is the same, similar to the CV site itself. Here again, you can search by a product, CV ID, vendor type, or something like. You can search for D-Link here, and you can see here. It will give you, the security vulnerabilities in the D-Link, okay, with the vendor ID. Or you can also browse through the vendors or products or vulnerability by date. Like if you go by products, these are the products, okay, which are able to see. So Shopcard, firmware, there are many such product which are application based. Okay, so these are applications, also web applications. Uh, Airbox, Airbnb clone, Airbox from the Orange company, Aircam, Airflow. So these are all the products which have some or the other application. Okay, there is something like Avamar. which has vulnerabilities. You can see in the year wise, and also the vulnerability. These are the type of vulnerabilities. Okay, DOS vulnerability, gaining information. There were two vulnerabilities, and if you further click, you can see the information, published date, it was updated, and there will be a rating. Okay, so highest the rating, then highest the impact it is basically. So these are where you can also um, search for like Adobe Reader. If I search, then I might get vulnerabilities which are present in Adobe Reader. So every vulnerability that exists from a platform side standpoint has been recorded and has a unique number, what we call as CVE. Okay, and the another site is this one. So you can also check for this site. Very important. This this website is Arogya Setu. Yeah, thank you, sir. So, these I know I would request you all to take a look at the website, which wherein you will get to know about different vulnerabilities that exist. You can also use this application, these two websites, as a project for your students, where they can list down vulnerabilities which were present in Apache server, or maybe ngrok server, nginx server, or any of the servers, or any of the products also, where they can list down as a mini project and all can be given. Okay, next is to understand some of the important terms and concepts. Vulnerability, threat, and risk, three important things. So vulnerability is basically a loophole or a weakness or weakest point. Threat is a malicious act. Okay, and risk is the loss or damage, or the outcome is the risk. So vulnerability is example, no security guard is vulnerability. Threat could be robbery, and risk is reputational or financial. Okay, so risk, it exists if there is a threat and a vulnerability. If there is no threat, if there is no vulnerability, then risk does not exist. Okay, and risk is the function of likelihood and impact. Likelihood means how likely it is to occur. Okay, and impact is the basically the impact, how much loss one is facing. Okay, and talking about the threats, there are two types of threats. One is internal threat and external threat. Okay, so internal threats are the employees, and external threats are the hackers. Okay, so threats, there are two types: internal threat and external threat. So internal threat are the employees means disgruntled employees. Someone one manager scold his junior, and that junior is taking the revenge on the company by disclosing the information or anything like that. Okay, so so there are two types of threats that we have to understand. So these are about the vulnerabilities so far. I hope it was clear with respect to vulnerability. Further, there is this process of ethical hacking. Ethical hacking is a process to find the vulnerability. Okay, there are certain stages that will be covered for you. So when you understand ethical hacking process, you will be able to map vulnerability and this topic that I covered with the ethical hacking process. So everything is interrelated. Okay, and the entire workshop, if you unless and until if you do not attend the entire workshop, or did not go through the contents of the workshop, you'll not be able to understand, and there will be a gap that you will have and lot of confusion. So if at all you're not able to attend also, I think the recordings have been given, so please make sure you try to look at the recordings. Okay, so the next topic with this session itself is something called as advanced Google hacking technique. Okay, so Google hacking, or it's also called as Google docking. Okay, this method of is called as Google docking or Google hacking. Generally we use the term Google hacking. So we use Google for different various things. No, we use Google for to find out which is the best restaurant in Mangalore, which is the best place to visit during, which is the best place to visit during the time of summer season, rainy season, or winter season. Where do I get the best biryani in Mangalore, or what else we do? We search for some authors, some books, we search for some products. We search for like is iPhone 12 was better than the latest any of the other phones? Is Android better than iOS? And lot of things. These are the things which we search on the Google, and Google will give result. Okay. Now, Google Docking is basically a method where we use certain specific keywords. Okay, we use specific keywords in order to get a specific result. Okay, so this method is a very important method in ethical hacking, because we get to find lot of information, lot of vulnerabilities, okay, about a target. So we have a target could be a company or a website or an application. So when we use that target, we go for Google hacking as a one of the method. Okay, so it's basically, as I said, use of specific keywords. So which are the keywords? Let's take a look at it, and how it will work. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so the keyword is cache. What this will do, this dog will show you the cached version of any website. Okay, this particular cache will show you the cached version of any website. So I believe you already are aware of what cache means. So CACHE, and we go for like example.com. It's a website. No, sorry, cache.com. You can go for google.com. So you would be able to view web pages cached in Google search results. Okay, this is basically we use this when we are especially doing any assessment on a particular website, or a web application or a web portal, to find out their older pages, and to find other information, because older pages and all, if we get, it might have certain email IDs mentioned, or it might have certain, we will get some of the other information from it. So we use this particular thing while we are working on a web application or a website. Okay, so the next keyword is ALLIN text, which is all in text. This particular keyword searches for specific text contained on any web page. Okay, it will search for specific text contained on any web page in the entire world. Any web page which has that particular keyword, it will show you, give you the result. For example, ALLINTEXT, and then we go for anything. We can go for ethical hacking. Okay, or you can go for an author also here. Okay, like any author, if you want to find details about an author, then it will give you results of all the pages which has the name of that author. Okay, or you can also go for ethical hacking tools. So it will give the result where ethical hacking tools is mentioned. Okay, uh, this is something with respect to this particular text that I have given. We don't use it much, but we can use this particular keyword for gathering information, which is one of the important and the first step which is done in ethical hacking. Okay, information gathering is very important in ethical hacking, and it's the first thing that we all do. So we can also go for if you can see here, all in text password, and there is another keyword which we have used, which is file type. Okay, so it will give the file type of a log. Same way you can go for a phone number also, where that phone number is mentioned. Maybe I can give my own phone number and see if I can get any results. Okay, so when I put my this one of my number, then it is giving me results in lot of the pages and places where this number is available. Okay, so you can also search for the name, you can also search for FDP workshop Mangalore, something like this. I'm getting it, Mangalore University, PA. Okay, I might be required to go for the Saint Agnes, maybe. Yes. No, this is older one. It's giving for Saint Agnes, but specific to this, it's not giving the result. So we have to try with different keywords here. So yeah, this is with respect to all in text. The next keyword is all in title. Okay, all in title is exactly the same as all in text, but it will show pages that contains the title with the keyword that you give with the X character. Okay, for example, all in title, title, security companies. Okay, so the titles which have security companies will be the result that you would get. Okay, security company. So same way you can go for many other things. You see, it depends on how you gonna use it. Okay, I would suggest all of you to use these keywords. It is one of the best way to use Google, especially for research people and for the faculties also. It's a very important a tool where you can use it for getting the best result and the exact result. Okay, so similarly you can also go for something called as the Netflix cookies. Okay, where you can steal the cookies and you can try to access their account. uh, Digital marketing, title Google, and then something which is called as index of slash admin. Okay, index of slash admin. Okay, so if I give this particular keyword, I am able to get the admin access of certain portals like this one, index of slash admin, because they have given this thing in their website, configured this thing in their website. Okay, so I'm not sure. This is National Institute of Bank Management from Pune, so they have a big vulnerability here. Okay, where we're able to get their, see here, we are able to get so many of their documents. Maybe if we look at the keep looking at these documents, if we go through some of the documents, then we might get some internal information about this particular company, NIB mine India, NIB my India. Okay, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, maybe some of the documents could be internal, maybe some of the documents could be public for the public purpose. Okay, like in the yesterday's session you might have seen the different classification, every data has a value. So there might be the quotations. See here, I think this is a very serious issue, because there are the quotations also which have been which one can access directly. Then I would not like to go further and exploit this vulnerability. But yes, with a simple search text, that is index of slash admin, I was able to get access to the admin panel and internal access I was able to get. Similarly, we can also use this for index of slash admin slash config. Okay, where you will get the configuration access. All right. Then we have this is policy.go.go.br. I'm not sure .br, some companies. Okay. Spipschool.com. Okay. So generally, we don't go to exploit, but I hope you have understood the concept of why and how we can use all in title in order to find any information that you want, and also to find a vulnerability. So as I said, this particular thing where what I got access to is basically a vulnerability, because I'm able to see their internal documents, and this is definitely a serious issue. Is my voice breaking? Am I clear?
Yes, you're clear, sir. It's not breaking. It's clear.
Okay. So if you want me to repeat, please let me know if it is breaking. Okay. All right. The next uh, keyword is in URL. Okay. This particular keyword can be used to fetch results whose URL contains all the specified character. Okay, in the URL, right? uh, saintagnes.com, something like that, or whatever, in the URL aict.com slash something. So this particular URL you can directly find whatever content you give, keyword that you give, character that you give. If that character is available in any of the URL, web URL, it will give you. Like for example, in some of the authors posts and blogs and all, the author name will be in the URL, the blog name will be in the URL, the topic name will be in the URL, that will be shown here. But this can also be used to find the vulnerabilities all in URL. Let's take a simple example of all in URL has ethical hacking. Okay, so wherever there is ethical hacking in the URL, it will give you the result. Okay, wherever there is ethical hacking, you can see here slash ethical hacking. Okay, you will be getting the results. See here, there is ethical hacking. Okay, so this is where you use INURL. But INURL, all in URL can also be used for ethical hacking purpose. For example, if you go for all in URL admin, okay, now it will give you the results of the URL which has the admin panel. Okay, so this is a very high vulnerability, because admin panels are something which should not be easy, which should not be accessed by common people. Okay, like this one, we are able to get so many access to so many admin panels, even this FCI. Okay, then what is this in your okay. Mm, then we have for ugc.ac.in. So these are the admin panel. This is some Tamil Nadu Energy Development Agency. They have their admin panel open. So what do? We try for common password here, admin and admin. If it is successful, it will get successful, or else it will say invalid username and password. So we go for different we try with different passwords, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then we hit enter and we see whether it allows us or not. So here we know the IP address, we know the port number and all. Okay, and I'm not getting into the further part, but yeah, we can easily compromise. It's very easy to compromise this particular um, admin panel. Okay, it's very easy to compromise this particular panel, because I can, by looking at it, I can tell it. All right, but I'm not going through that exploitation part. Next is some um, shopping cart of sarahsusandesigns.com. Again, the admin panel is access. Access is there, so we can try with admin and oh, so it has given access to the administrative area of this particular site. So basically I have exploited this particular website, okay, which is Sarah Susan Designs. I'm not sure where and what exactly this is, but this looks like some Indian site only, because from the name, yeah, it should be from of a Indian website. So what we can do here: add product, update product, add product group, check customer orders, and so many things. Okay, select customer, and we can further exploit this particular web portal. Similarly, there is something like open cart. This is already I think this is for demo purpose. Okay, it's not a real one. This is just for a demo purpose. So let's not take a look at it. We have access admin panel open of the FCI government. I guess FCI is Food Corporation of India. We can easily brute force and get access to this. UGC admin login is open of the UGC. This is again a serious issue. What is this? Okay, this is already covered. So yeah, this is where we use Google Docking to find the admin panel. So you can specifically give you know we can specifically give for a particular website also. Okay, ABC website or ABC web application and so on. So generally when we are doing these things for us at a specific college or institute, we try to find vulnerabilities with respect to that particular institute or college. But since this is a common workshop where there are people from different institutes, I would not like to go with that thing. But this is something I think all of you, since you are the faculties of many institutions, I know that there are many institutions websites which are highly vulnerable. Okay, like they are so vulnerable that what I did just now, it is even more easier than that. Okay, how I was able to compromise the Sarah design site. There are many websites, many institutes which are more vulnerable than these particular things. So please make sure you check through these things on your college websites and all. Okay, uh, apart from this, you can also go for in URL slash admin.php, because some of the websites have just admin, some of the websites have WP admin. This is basically for the websites which is running on WordPress. Okay, WordPress. Then we have shop. This is, I think, for shop. What is that? Shopify site. Then we have slash admin slash password.asp. So with this again, we'll be able to get some. Not sure what this is, but all right. Let's not waste time here, because I'm not doing any information gathering. I'm just trying to showcase you how vulnerable we are in this world. Then next is link. This will show you the list of web pages that have links to the specified URL. Okay, which will have link to the specified URL. So if we give it as um, link, okay, and like encryption, then it will give the result wherever there is a link given, sorry, with the link as, sorry, the wrong example I gave, link colon, it should have been um, like flipkart.in. So if I give flipkart.in, every pages which has the link which has mentioned flipkart.in in the web pages, it will give this particular result. Okay, so this is again we use it when we are doing information gathering as part of the first phase of ethical hacking, where we give the name of the web application or the web portal, so that we get to find where and all we have uploaded or wherever, where and all the links are there for that particular company. Okay, so that we can gather more information. That's the basic intention. The next one is email. This particular uh, command, that is file type. Okay, file type and in URL. So we have merged two things, in URL and file type. File type is, you can give file type PDF. So for example, if you're, and all these keywords can be used together also. Okay, so particular to a specific website, if you want to find the admin page, particular to the website, if you want to find the director email ID or their email ID or their FTP server, their IP address, anything you want, you can go with this. Okay, so file type, if you want to find a book, okay, which is all in text, uh, book name, or all in title, the book name with file type PDF. So you will get the books which are, directly you will get the books only for that. All right, so if you look at this file type, I've already have it, is XLS, in URL is email.xls. So in the URL there should be the email.xls, in the URL it should be there, and the file type should be XLS. Okay, so if I run this, I'll get the result where I'll be able to see here. This is basically from jivansathi.com, where they have the data is open. Okay, there are some, this is again a serious issue. 700 data is with me now. What and all details I have the register number, customer name, age, height, area, phone number is basically I was able to find something like this. Then don't save. Then URLs which I've got with access to the email IDs. Okay, which has email IDs. I would not suggest you to download everything from here. You can use the URL which is you download whatever you get.
Right.
Please don't do that.
Excuse me,
Okay,
sir.
be very careful while you're doing. Yes, ma'am.
No,
Hello.
there's some disruption in this network, I think. We weren't able to hear you a little in between.
Uh,
Now it is okay.
okay. Is it
Yeah.
clear now?
Yeah, now
All
it's
right. All
okay.
right. Ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So basically, I was saying about this particular keyword. If you run this particular keyword, you will be able to get the results where there is email attached. Okay, sorry, where there is a file which is XLS file or Excel file which contains the email. Okay, here you can also give like password. Okay, so you will get The no password from some form which has some password. Just a dummy one. Okay, so it doesn't work all the time. Okay, you will have to uh, search for specific things. There's something like username and passwords. What is this? Okay. Anyways, basically this cannot be randomly. If you go for, generally you will get this junk data only. But yeah, you can also go for another in URL with that specific target name. Okay, maybe a college name or your company name or anything like that can be given here. Okay. um, the next type of thing which I would like to show here is basically this one, which is very important. In title, in title, in title space webcam, web cam xp. I'll give 5. Okay. Webcam xp5, and in URL is 8080 port number, which is live. Okay, so if I run this, I'll be able to access cameras, because webcam XP is basically uh, a server for Windows based platforms where you can access your webcam remotely. Okay, so all these are webcams which are connected to the internet, and we will be able to access this. Okay, which could be live. It's not displaying. Okay, it's not displaying. Okay, showing something. So here I have got some access, but maybe the internet is slow or what, I'm not sure. Okay, here it is asking for no, so we go for this one. No, same thing it would be. Not sure why this is not loading. This, maybe they have parked their car, but I am able to see that something is going on. Okay, any which ways we can try for some more contents and see live streaming. Why it is not coming? Okay, so this one, if you see the time is being running here, but it is night time, so we're not able to see what exactly is happening. Maybe after some time, if you come and see in the daytime, we will be able to exactly see this or get access to this camera. So similarly, we can also go for webcam XP. We can go for HK vision. We can go for there are so many Xiaomi MI based cameras. We can also go for location here, which is Mangalore location. Okay, we can also be specific with the locations also. All right. So for those of you who have installed CCTV cameras in your home, which is IoT based, or something which you can access it remotely, please make sure that you have a password enabled for it. Okay, generally the providers do not enable password and give you, but if you have a password, it's good. Otherwise we can easily access or get access to your home directly. Okay, so there are many such ways which can be used. Then the next one is file type XLS in URL. I think this is um, already been searched. Okay, Windows XP, sorry, one more command, which is Windows XP end of life site microsoft.com. So if you run this, it will search within this website's given domain. Okay, so if you give any content, so Windows XP end of life is basically a content. Okay, and the site is microsoft.com. So if you want to search anything within microsoft.com, you can go for this one. So if the site is basically flipkart.com, and if you want to go for a specific product, you can go for that product name and site microsoft.com. Okay, so these are the ways, these are some of the examples of Google docking and how you can use Google search engine for finding vulnerabilities and finding information. Similarly, we have this website called as exploitdb.com, okay, which is Google hacking database, GHDB. Exploitdb.com. I'll be posting the URL here. Okay, so basically, this website, if you come here, it has just like the CVE website, which has a repository of all the vulnerabilities. This website has a repository of all the keywords that you want. Okay, every keyword that you want to have, you can have it here. All right, GHDB, if you have to click, and you will be able to see this in URL ppconfig.html. So there are many authors, there are many interns of our company who have posted here. From our interns have come up with their own keywords, okay, with specific, with respect to specific major companies, and it has been posted here. So see this in title, Cisco security appliance. So if you click on this, it will tell you Cisco email security virtual appliance login portals, and the it was published by this particular author, and the search title is basically this. So you just have to come here, search for this, and it will give you the Cisco email virtual appliance access to the panel. Okay. So from here, this is basically a vulnerability which they have given. Okay, generally we always go for admin and admin, a very common thing, and then we go for if it is not taking, then we go for SQL injection, or we go for many other attacks are there, very simple attacks. Okay, coming back, so there are the Google hacking database. This is called as GHDB, where you will get all the uh, entries, or all the links or the URLs that you want, like this one in title. Um, it will it will give some data power depends on okay, it's not giving me any result. Maybe this particular thing they have taken it down. Okay, the company might have taken it down to whichever they are accessing. So exploit DB is the repository where you can give it. This is another important thing from a research standpoint and also project standpoint, which you can give to your students as a project. We already have a lot of projects, so if any of your students are interested in this, working on this type of making another repository kind of, and would like to work, so these are actually not directly has ethical hacking, I would say, or cyber security, but it comes in the development part, but they need to have the knowledge of cyber security. So anyone if is interested, you can let us know, or you can engage your students with your own concepts or projects with respect to these particular things, that is CVE and exploit database. Okay, so when we when you looked at this, I mean, I was not able to showcase much thing here, but you know um, uh, in all my previous workshops and all, when we do, when we where we have a specific target, it helps you when you have a specific target. we were able to find lot of information about those targets. Okay, in whichever workshops we have done so far, we are able to find lot of internal information. In one of the institute, we are also able to get their admin panel access and student database also directly. Okay, which we could show it to directly to the students and the the faculties and all. So this is a very serious thing. You can also look for yourself as well, apart from the college or target or anything. You can also look for yourself as well, as to what type of information is available about you on the internet. Okay, so measures. So what to do when, or how do you protect yourself from these things? When what measures do you have to take? Basically protect private areas with the user and password authentication, and also by using IP based restrictions. So for example, admin panel access, if it is there, or whatever, direct access should not be given. Okay, there should be an username and password. Username and password is also can be broken easily. It's better to go for IP based restrictions, such that only this particular device can access this particular admin panel or admin portal. Okay, no other IP, no other machine, no other computer, no other person can, it should be able to access. So basically you have to do whitelisting. Okay, who can access, only give access to that person, and blacklist the others. Encrypt the sensitive information like username, passwords, or anything. In one of the website, we were able to get the file. You were able to download a file on our internet. What it did was, you got a file which had the name, user ID, password. Okay, it was basically a shopping website, e-commerce based website. Password, credit card, debit card number, CVV number, expiry date. Okay, and the shopping details that they have ordered. And not just that, we were also able to log into some of their account also. I mean, we tried only with some, because we cannot do much, but yeah, whichever passwords were mentioned there, we're actually able to access in those websites. Okay, using others password. And we were also able to place orders also there. All right, so encryption plays a very important role. Encryption is a very important concept which will be covered for you in the next few sessions. Run regular vulnerability scans against your site. These usually already use popular Google doc queries and can be pretty effective. So you have to run these particular docs by your own. Okay, and just to see whether you are having, whether there are any sensitive information or not. And if you find any sensitive content exposed, request its removal by using Google Search Console. So there is something called as Google Search Console, where you can report it to Google and ask Google to remove it. Okay, but Google cannot remove everything, because it is available in your website, and your website Google can access. So Google will get access from your websites itself. So basically you have to remove it from your website. But if there are any some contents which Google is showcasing out of the box, then you can request it from here, which is Google console. Okay, where you have, they have clearly shown how, what to be done, how to block a URL. Okay, and a lot of things are there. Temporarily remove URL, or if you want to block a specific URL. Okay, or if you want to clear the cached URL of your older website, if you want to clear it, and so many other things. Whatever you want to do, you can reach out to Google. Okay, so yeah, with this I've come to an end of this particular session, where we discussed about the different vulnerabilities. I hope that was clear for you. And the next session was, the next topic was basically with respect to Google hacking, how you can use Google search engine with respect to finding information, and how you can use it in ethical hacking, or how you can use it in cyber security for finding the vulnerabilities or the loopholes. If you have any questions, please let me know. We have 5 more minutes. I'll be there. I'll be available for the next 5 minutes, and then I'll drop off, because the next session is at 12. So yeah, over to you guys if anyone has any question.
Okay, participants, if you have any questions, yeah, yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Robinson D'Souza, for giving us an insight into the different types of vulnerabilities and also for demonstrating the use of, advanced Google hacking techniques, that is your Google docking, and also about, the measures to be taken to ensure security of our data. Very interesting session, sir. If you have any more queries, you can ask in the next section as well, I'm sure. For now, we take a break of 15 minutes, sir. It is not 12 o'clock. The next session starts at 11:45. I hope you can hear me, sir.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, ma'am. Sure, sure.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's okay, right? 11:45. According to
Yes,
our
ma'am.
schedule, it is at 11,
Yeah, yeah.
11:45. 15 is
Because
the
yesterday
next
it was
session.
12, no, so I got confused.
Okay, yeah, that's it. So it will be on cybersecurity standards. Thank you so much, sir, for this session.
Thank you.
And participants, I have posted in the chat group, chat box, the link for the attendance. We also posted it in the WhatsApp group. Some of you were not able to access it in the chat box. Okay, thank you. So we break for 15 minutes and we come back again at 11:45. Thank you all.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Ashok sir has a question here, that is whether we can access webcams of other laptops or webcam. Sir, basically you cannot, direct access to others' laptops, camera or webcam is not directly possible with these technique which is said, that is Google hacking, okay, or Google docking. Okay, because by default the camera would not be connected, to something like an outside server. All right, in this case which we did, we tried to access the webcam XP server. Okay, so we are trying to access the server actually. All right, where here the recording is taking place and all the recordings are getting uploaded on the server, and we are accessing it from the server. So in the case of the laptop thing, which you asked the question, the camera, first of all, it is not on all the time. Secondly, even if it is on also, it is not getting stored on a server. Okay, if it is a case where the your laptop, if you're using it as a CCTV camera kind of thing, where you are uploading or you are remotely accessing it from somewhere else. Okay, where your cameras footages are going to a server, and from the server you are accessing it from somewhere else, in that case it is possible. But otherwise as such directly from the camera, it is not possible, sir. And For this thing, if you want to access others camera, there is another technique where you can easily hack into another laptops or another system's camera, and you can directly see what they are doing without their knowledge. Okay, so that is a different part, which comes under ethical hacking and not in Google docking. So I hope that was clear, sir. Thank you, sir.